Not just relax, man. Just relax. If you win it, you win it.
No, I know I mean.
If you win it, you win it.
Why don't you be in it?
I've had complaints about other people, but if you win it, you win it.
Let's pick up where that things go.
All right. It's kind of blurry. There we go.
Is there anything? And I asked Linda and Courtney because they came first. Was there anything on the board missing from what you expect in a spouse? We added a couple.
Oh.
Was loyalty up there?
Let me see what I've got.
Yes, it's
What do I expect?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. This is Silas. Silas, this is everybody.
This is my best friend. Very nice. He's my best friend. And that's what I'm Loren. I'm Miss Loren. I'm Loren. Hi, London.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Let's just keep moving. Let's keep moving. We were talking about before you guys came. We were talking about how Abraham. We were talking about the story of Abraham. How he was called righteous based on what. Y'all help me out. Based on what he was. We kind of went through his story. Why did we go through his story? We went through his story to tie in.
We were talking about Hagar.
Yeah, talk about Hagar
and the son. And God will always.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. The church is called the Bride of Christ.
Oh,
right.
We talked about this upstairs.
Right. The church is called the Bride of Christ because we are Christ's chosen people. He died for us, died on the cross for us, shed his blood. Blood had to be shed.
You're talking about marriage?
Yes, definitely. Blood had to be shed, and we connected it because the one thing that Christ wants, by the time at the end of this whole day, this whole earth's day, he's looking for a bride. He's looking for somebody that he can spend eternity with, somebody that he can love, cherish. What are the vows? What are the wedding vows?
Love, cherish,
love, honor, and obey.
Wow. So what?
Through sickness, through health,
to death do us part.
First thing is
Can I
to
get that
love
and to cherish.
and to cherish.
To have and to hold. We both shall live.
Somebody go
Only been
You sound a little too ready.
Right. When do there's some stuff in between. It is. That's important. That is important.
We get this time and bad times. It's through sickness and health, for good times.
I think something about promising to love and obey.
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 You would remember that.
I remember when my sister was getting married. That was a big joke. Yeah, when my sister get married.
That is vicious. People have a huge problem with the word
obedience.
But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that is the glue.
You need to
Yeah, man. That's the glue.
Boy, stop. Tengo tremenda mujer.
Come on, let's go through these vows. For Richard.
That's what till death do you part.
Good times and bad times.
Oh yeah, through good times and bad times.
That's a song. In rich times, in broke times. In sickness and in health. And here it is. Till death. Till death.
Ooh.
It's a long time.
That's a long time.
Might as well be eternity.
Long time. Well, we don't know.
Right.
Unless you trying to kill me.
Are you sure?
I mean, even if you marry, there's so many unfortunate situations that happen. Like maybe what was it, about it had to be about 5 years ago. Well, a husband and wife were coming home from their honeymoon and they were going under the underpass, and this is when kids thought it was funny to throw rocks off of the overpass. And they threw a big rock and it came through the window. This is their first day back as man and wife went to the islands to celebrate their wedding, honeymoon, and blah, blah, blah. The rock came through the window, it was big enough. Smashed her face.
She died?
Smashed, no, she lived.
Oh Lord, that
But
means she
of
lives
course, she
as
does
a
not
different
look
Ew.
like the woman he married.
No, my pretty
I hope he
lady.
ain't married for her face.
That's you. Do you see what I'm talking about?
No.
Your
Like
motives
it's
for
through.
marriage have to be right.
I like pretty women.
You see what I'm saying?
When she gets
that was one of the things on our list. You got look. We would like for you to look like something. If we had to look at you till death do us part.
No,
But
that's
what,
why she got her
what
face
would
smashed.
happen
So sad.
if things change? And he stuck with her. Recently in the news, had to be last week, a woman who was at her bachelorette party. And she was playing, yeah. They were playing too much horse playing. They pushed her. She fell into the pool, busted her something, broke her back. And she was paralyzed at her bachelorette party. That was last year. He stuck with her.
Yo,
She-
these women thought about too. I mean, I would never, but that's the first thing that popped in my head.
What's the first thing popping in your head?
I wouldn't want to live like that.
It's rough.
Like the day of
What?
my wedding, I would be like, that is the
You
day.
don't wanna live like that, so what?
I mean, I wouldn't, but that's the first thing with my wedding.
And you know what? That's a totally natural response.
And you have to,
Because that's what you think in your mind.
I mean, maybe not to the paralyzed, but definitely the smashing of the shit.
But the rock came through the windshield
Oh my god.
and smashed her face, fit perfectly into her cranium.
Awesome.
And all of this, she had to have scores and scores of reconstructive surgery just to bring a semblance of what she looked like
No.
back to reality.
I like pretty
So
women.
she tired of it.
No.
Probably not.
Wait,
It's
what
like
do you
this.
think?
This one.
She
look
kind
like
of
that
looked
one.
human.
That one.
You look human.
She kind of looked human.
She needed a face
So
transplant.
after that, you do not look the same.
She needed a face transplant. The woman that got her
it
face
was-
removed.
and it worked.
Right.
And it worked.
Y'all heard about that, right?
It worked, yeah.
The woman that got
It
the
worked.
face ripped off by the monkey.
Yeah.
Oh, she got someone
Chips
else's
is
face.
strong.
Yeah.
Chip is 8 times stronger.
Hey, wait, come on.
She like pulled her by her calf, was dragging her.
It's vicious.
like
And
little muscle men.
and they're full of rage all the time.
Why is somebody happening at your house?
Michael Jackson did.
Why?
Michael Jackson did. That's why.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not bringing my
He had a monkey bubble.
She gonna
He
know.
died, man.
Bubble died. Yeah, but people own the monkey.
He can't do that, man.
But
Yeah,
do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he
Things
could.
you have to be with somebody for the right reasons.
What do you consider the right reason?
And pray that they don't get hit by
That's
The
that.
vows
Just to
or
save the
Paralyzed in the pool.
That's the list we came up with last time. Let me write. I'm gonna write them up here really quick.
I got the
like
list.
people will recite the vows.
I have
they
it on
get
paper, but I got
married
it
based
digital.
on the vows.
Oh yeah. Oh
lot of
well,
times.
that's
I mean,
the vows
A
are.
lot of people get married for money. A lot of people get married for
Yeah.
for looks,
Money
for-
can't
But some people,
That's another thing.
do you marry for strictly for love?
Because now, if she paralyzed or whatever, she can't do the same job she did before.
I'm sure
so
she
if
can't
y'all
do the same
are
job.
kind of on
And then you
both,
gotta change your
incomes
house.
coming in.
Like,
So basically, the house that you bought before you got married is now on sale.
We need to make a whole lot of adaptations.
I wasn't even thinking about her job. I went with probably with the principal. She couldn't do what she was doing before.
Right.
I was like,
Let me get her. Let me get him. Go ahead. What you say?
I went with Lonnie when Courtney said she couldn't do what she was doing before, and I was like,
So that is all the fun.
Think about it.
So then that's more stress on you.
Are you
If that's what you got
And
married,
you already got to carry the person from room to room. And then you got to get up and go to work. You got to pay somebody.
What would make you stay with somebody who's broken?
But you're glowing because you're excited.
What would
in the
make you
beginning of
stay
the
with
marriage is
somebody?
like-
Oh, you heard it done.
What would make you stay with somebody broken?
broken physically.
Broken physically, brokenness is
It's one thing and like broken emotion.
Baby, you could be physically. Now think about it. You could be physically broken because that's what we start. We're going from superficial to deep. You could be physically broken because there's some people who look perfectly fine, but when it's when it's all said and done, you don't realize people might have things, they might be infertile or have erectile dysfunction.
That's my worst fear.
Do you see what I'm saying? Or they just might be really whack.
To be infertile is scary.
So that's my fear.
Right, to be infertile, that's my worst.
So right, so there's a physical brokenness. There is an emotional brokenness.
That's sad.
Oh, because that is no. It's because I work in locker office in that kind of field.
Or unless it's his problem.
They know to come back.
I mean, you have to the point where you have to stick needles.
No, serious.
You have to do a pump, or you have
inflatables. Yes.
They have inflatables, or they have a solution where you have to put it into a needle.
See, that's the thing. Okay, what is it?
Just to
No
know.
sexual formation. I mean, I get that. Like,
It depends on how bad it is.
That's right.
Because I know like young dudes who like are in wheelchairs.
Yes.
And they can't.
That's right.
They have to do either the solution or they have the pump. They have to do
Oh,
surgery or whatever.
no.
It's just like
To get hard. And even
I think you put it into a needle.
I guess you
Put it into a vein.
listen, no, listen. I want you to hear this because
Oh yeah.
this. Let me tell you
Put
what
it
it
into
is.
the needle. Put it into a vein down there.
That's
and
right.
then see if it works. If it don't, you have to go to the next. You do surgery.
You get an implant,
and
then you have to inflate.
We talking about it, right? You already have
Yeah.
And I've seen young guys do that. I've seen young guys that have to do it because they're in a wheelchair.
Now this is the thing.
It's just like how far you want it to go with your girlfriend or your wife.
But you heard the Viagra condoms, right?
Viagra condoms.
This is the part where I guess you got the Viagra in the condom and the But if you leave the Viagra in the condom and how do you get it in the condom? You leave the Viagra in the first place.
I don't know. That's
Let me get you because the echo is.
Yeah, I had
everybody talking at one time. Yeah.
But like, if I was for my own, like, just speaking about myself, like, I walk around. I'm not saying I'm crazy or nothing like that, or I might be just that. But nah, it's like with me. Yeah. Like with me, you would look at me, but then you wouldn't know. Like my kidneys are failed, so it's like a lot of issues that come with that. Right. So me, like for example, this fool right here, he stayed my friend, even though I had some people that just said, you know what, I can't deal with this no more. So I don't even know. Shut up.
There's a level of commitment. And see, this is the thing. This is the thing. You could have so many levels. You know what I'm saying? Because we focus because we are human beings, are superficial people. That's the first place we go. But there are people who walk around, they're physically fit. However, their mind, they have been through, case in point, Halle Berry.
Female woman.
She's on the magazine every year for one of the most beautiful women in America. But she cannot keep a relationship. And all the guys,
I thought she was gonna say something crazy.
No, but see, you know what? That's half of Hollywood. But all of the guys who are with her are saying the same thing. They are saying she's a nut job. They saying she is a stark raving man.
When you too fine, that happens.
Well, I don't know. I know you're too fine.
When you too fine, you crazy.
Amy Winehouse.
But do you see what I'm saying? But still, but do you see what I'm saying? Case in point, you have people. Let me go. I don't even know if I should go here, but these are just Hollywood examples. You have Tom Cruise and Tom and Kate. He's on some spiritual craziness, some Scientology deep. He's like one of the high dudes in there. He's given a significant amount of money to it.
He's always been deep.
And he's not, if you look at him, he's wide eyed all the time. He's like weird. And the girl, and she's smiling with the babies on her hip. And she's
scared.
She's terrified.
Remember when he jumped on Oprah's couch?
He jumped on her. She was like, whoa. But physically, okay. Called a heartthrob. People had posters of him on their wall, but things are something going on. You got people who are emotionally broken, your everyday Joe. Sometimes, like I said in a couple classes ago, you got the same cologne that my boyfriend used to wear, and every time I smell you, I think about him. I might accidentally call you his name. Because my mind is not out of that yet. You see what I'm saying? My mind, I'm still broken. And you know what? He used to wear his hair the same way. He used to do this. And as soon as you act like you're going to do something he did, see, that's what they always do.
Oh my!
I called it. I thought you was going to say something.
Do you see what I'm saying? And she's like, you know, if something's going on, and you just decided to bring her a bagel from Starbucks and a cup of coffee, and he used to do the same thing. You cheated on me. Wow.
And then he's standing and looking at him like, what?
Right, you know what I'm saying? You're like, no, this is
No, at that particular point, you check it in the back. I'm sorry, did I get the wrong one?
What you want me? What did I do? Because emotionally, the person is still broken. You have people who, I mean, financially busted. You know what I'm saying?
That's my feeling.
Financially busted. Sapping you dry. Or the only reason they want to be with you is because they believe they could get some money out of you.
They want these money.
Male and female. Male and female.
We want prenup.
You know, these types of things you have to take into consideration. There's so many types of, you have some people who are socially broken. They don't have any filter. They say anything out of their mouth and they're always embarrassing you.
Or the opposite.
Or they don't say anything at all. Like they have
no social filter, or they have no social skills.
Yeah.
You know, you take them in the crowd and they're like,
ew, that's so.
That used to blow me.
and they want you to be out there, you out going,
He's like, hey, y'all doing
It's like, yo, I got social anxiety for real. I got like diagnosed social anxiety. But you fake the funk. You do what you got to do. Somebody else doing their thing. You go and set up a conversation with somebody else. Like, hey man, I like comic books. How about you, man?
I remember people, but I talk to you.
You see that Captain America movie, man?
But I don't think you realize how serious that is. When people cannot function in society or they're not social, you don't have to be footloose and fancy free. But you should be able to hold a conversation without being defensive.
Right.
That's what you're trying to say, man.
Yeah, I ain't footloose.
And you're like, come on.
What?
What's your problem is?
What's wrong with your face?
He talked on my students.
No, dog, it's showing you like my shirt.
So, is
What, you want my shirt? You trying to rob me?
wow.
Want my shirt, son?
You see what I'm saying? No. You like, no. Everybody started saying you like,
Mind business.
Just mind you.
or you got the one that does the, come on, girl, let's go.
It's not a club.
What are you looking at, girl? He with me. I'm so, Did you see how she looked at me? And you like,
You got the
do you see? Wow. It is very serious. You have to consider all these things. Why? Because many of us are fragmented ourselves.
Yes.
And we don't realize it until you get next to somebody who might just be a little bit more whole than you are. Might just be a little bit more whole than you are. And and you, the last guy, you thought he was a nut, but now you with somebody sane, and he thinks you're a nut, or she thinks you're a nut. It's like, what are you doing?
But that's because you had to deal with that last
Because
question.
It's contagious. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Crazy is contagious.
It does. It rubs off on you. What would make you stay with somebody broken? Because so quickly we want to do away with them. We want to be like, you know what? I'll do this a little while, but I can't do it. And some people, and I thank God that we're not God. Some people you have to turn them loose. Yeah. Some people you have to for your sanity.
Yes.
Why? Because now we go back to Hagar. Let's go back to Hagar for a little while. If you don't know who Hagar is, in the beginning, the patriarch, both of the Muslim and the Christian religion, Abraham and his wife Sarah, God promised them a child. This is fast forward, going real quick. This is the Cliff Notes. God promised these two people a child because he obeyed and he was faithful. God counted it to him for righteousness, the Bible says, because he was faithful even until he said he would sacrifice this. Let me just go back. Let me go back a little bit. Abraham and Sarah, you guys are gonna have a son. What? Sarah's in the tent laughing. Yeah, that's over with. That's called finished, right? Abraham's like, but I'm kind of old, Sarah's in the tent laughing. She's saying, shall I have pleasure at this age? Those were her words. He's like, how is this going to happen? Because, my body is pretty much dead. She's like, shall I have pleasure? She's thinking about pleasure, and she's cracking up like it's not going to happen. But the man indeed says, oh yes, you will have a son. Well, seemed like it took a long time. So they have this hot little maid that walks around. Her name is Hagar.
He wouldn't reproduce.
Right. Her name is
God. You must take him.
Right. God's
He's not about to do the maid.
So Hagar is this fine little Egyptian maid that they have, who is of childbearing age, and she's hot. She got this. So she just walked in. She's fine, and Sarah has the idea, not Abraham. Sarah says, well, you know what? It might just be that God wants to raise up a seed through Hagar. Why don't you take my handmaid? Because that was one of the things they did back then. Why don't you take my handmaid, and then she can bear him on my knees. We talked about this when we went to Genesis maybe a few months back. Well, they would give you their handmaiden, and what would happen is when it's time for her to be delivered, the woman would be on her back with her legs up, like with her knees up, and the woman who's really having a baby would sit between her legs, and so that she could be a semblance of her having the baby herself. But here's this woman screaming and writhing in between her legs, but she don't feel anything. She's just there, and it's a symbol of she's raising up my child. That's a praise.
Wow.
That was strict. That was their plan. That was her plan, right? So certainly Hagar has this baby. Hagar has a baby, right? And I'm trying to give you the whole quick. There's so many details. You gotta read the book, y'all. Please read the Holy Bible. It is a good read. It's amazing, right? It's like whoa. So she has this baby, and even before she has the baby, though, she's pregnant, and she's excited because I'm pregnant and you're not. So Hagar's walking around. Abe, honey.
Nope.
I don't feel so well today. Sure. So Sarah said, man, like,
it was your idea.
Backfired on me. Hold on for a minute. Said, oh, Abe, come here. The baby's
See, that's making me
mad. Yes. Sarah's off to the side like, this ain't working out. You see what I'm saying? So she has the baby. But now Hagar is the celebrity because she has Abraham's son. His name is Ishmael. He's the son of the bondswoman, of the slave woman, right? So after all of this is going on, you're going to have a son, blah, 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 blah. No, you and Sarah. This is now the message. Now you and Sarah are going to have a son. Can I have pleasure? Yes, you are. Long and short of it, Sarah does in fact conceive, and she has a son named Isaac. He's the son of the free woman, right? Well, Ishmael's older now, so he knows what's going on. There's a new kid in the block. He's not the big cheese on the block. There's a bigger kid that Sarah and Abraham are now doting over. They are like, oh man, because this is the baby of their body. So Ishmael and his mama kind of like, So Ishmael starts to bully and tease the little boy. And one day Sarah hears Ishmael bullying and teasing Isaac, the son of promise. She goes to Abraham. They got to go. They have got to go. They got to go. Wait a minute. Abraham loves Ishmael because that's his son too. And that's his firstborn son. But that's not, in God's eyes, that was not his only son. His only son was Isaac because that was the son of promise. You did that on yourself. I never told you to do it that way. I never told you to hook up with that one. You did that. And Sarah's like, she's out of control. Because now she's telling me what she is and what she's not going to do. And I heard the little boy bullying. They got to go. So Abraham goes to God and says, God, Sarah is lunching. No, God says, no. Hearken unto the voice of your wife. Because she's right. she is right. Abraham gives the woman a loaf of bread and a bottle of water and says, "Bon voyage. I'm sorry, you got to go."
No.
What?
That's crazy.
I know.
I had your back. That's all right.
So Ari's right.
Right. But this is the thing. God says, go ahead, put them out. So you wouldn't think, and I just heard somebody preach this, you wouldn't think that God would say, yeah, put out. Why?
No.
It wasn't because God was inconsiderate and because he was heartless and uncompassionate. He says, no, I'll take care of them. Ishmael wound up having 12 sons, just like Isaac. They're the Arab nations right now. And the Jews and the Arabs are still fighting today. That's all the way back to Ishmael and Isaac.
See, what
Iraq
happened was
Ishmael and Isaac.
Isaac should have killed the Ishmael.
That's a good movie. Right. You see, God's like, yeah, put out. So what happens is, Hagar goes, she runs out of, this is, now I guess it's not the cliff note anymore. There's so many details in it. Y'all gotta read the book, it's really good. Right? So he goes, Hagar, she's traveling with her, so come on baby, let's go. And Ishmael he is a wild kid. He's rough, he's a bully. Come on, let's go. So he already angry about a lot of stuff, he's mad. So he's walking. After a while they run out of water and bread. And Ishmael is crying, "Mom, please, we out here in the desert. I am thirsty, I'm hungry." He's weeping. And Hagar can't take it anymore. She's about to leave him out there to die. And she's just gonna go and just say, forget about it, I'm just gonna die too. But I can't stand to hear my baby crying because he's hungry and thirsty. God comes to her, an angel comes to her and says, don't worry about him. We're gonna take care of him. And Ishmael is set up. The Arab nations are the richest right now, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Next to the Jews. They're neck and neck. Why? Because it's Ishmael and Isaac. God still wants a bride for his son. Christ wants a bride. Why did I say all this? Because there is a way. There's a way that we handle people. I'm so glad we're not God. Because if we were God, we would leave broken people alone. And we'd be done.
Real quick.
I preface that whole Hagar, Abraham, Sarah thing is some people you have to turn loose.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Hagar would never have come in contact with anybody with any godly presence. She would not have seen holiness for herself. She would not have seen the angel of God herself if you didn't put her out. And a lot of times we hanging on the people who are broken, but they will never have a true relationship with God as long as you're trying to be God. As long as you're still trying to take care of them, you're still trying to coddle them up, you still, because you feel bad about what they did. Okay, she was abused, and you know she's always been left and dogged by dudes, and you feel like you obligated the way you gotta stay there, but she is draining you, and she is really blocking the real promise that God has for you. Some people, you have to let them go.
Wow.
Wow. That like wow.
Man, I'm just like a whole list of people just went straight
Do
to
you
my
see
head.
if you don't turn people loose, they will never have a true experience with God themselves because you're too busy being God. You too busy rescuing them.
You know what say?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
No. Do you see what I'm saying?
What if something bad happens after you let them go? Like,
God will take care of
That
them.
has nothing to do with you.
God will take care of them. I mean, you can still be concerned. I'm not saying be heartless. But what happens is sometimes we looking at broken people and we want to turn them loose, but there's a little codependence there. Sometimes it be like being needed and wanted like that.
Sometimes bros are crazy. Man, they'll hurt themselves. Or something.
I had somebody say they were going to kill themselves. I had one dude. He said he was going to shoot my house up. He said he was going to shoot my house up. Oh no, really? Oh, this is when I was living down south. He said, no, you won't. No, you won't. I'll be there. No, you won't either. You better not come to my house.
You think they won't, but
I would set that joint on fire while you sleeping. That's what he told me. He said while I'm sleeping, he would put gas around my house and set me on fire, me and my mama and my brothers.
Oh, because you ain't like him like that?
Because I told him it's it. Because I knew he had some serious.
And so he went and proved you right?
Stuff.
That's why I'm leaving you now.
I didn't know. I didn't know he was that angry. I did not know he was like, yo,